Sarajevo, Bosnia. June 28, 1914. 10:08 in the morning. A motorcade moves through the city. 6 cars, flags on the hoods. The Archduke of Austria-Hungary, Franz Ferdinand, is here on an official visit with his wife, Sophie. The crowd lines the streets. Some of them wave. 7 of them are not waving. His name is Gavrilo Princip, and today he is going to try to kill the Archduke. He is going to fail. And the way he fails is going to change everything. By the end of this day, a single bullet, fired by a 19-year-old who almost didn't pull the trigger, will set off a chain of events that kills 17 million people. But here's the thing nobody talks about. That bullet almost didn't happen. 7 times, it almost didn't happen. The plan was simple. Too simple, as it turned out. A Serbian nationalist group called the Black Hand had sent 7 assassins to Sarajevo. 7 men positioned along the Archduke's motorcade route, each one a failsafe for the others. If the first man missed, the second would act. If the second failed, the third. 7 chances to kill 1 man. On paper, it was foolproof. The motorcade left the train station at 10:10 in the morning. The first assassin was stationed at the Kumerja Bridge. The Archduke's car approached. He didn't throw his grenade. He later said a policeman was standing too close. He panicked. The second assassin froze. The third saw the car coming and couldn't move. 3 of 7 men, gone. Then the fourth man, Nedeljko Kabrinović, stepped forward. He threw his grenade directly at the Archduke's car. He hit it. Except the grenade bounced off the folded-back convertible roof, rolled under the following car, and exploded 10 seconds later. 10 seconds being enough time for both cars to clear the blast. The Archduke was untouched. 2 officers in the car behind him were wounded. Kabrinović, realizing he'd failed, swallowed his cyanide capsule and jumped into the river. The cyanide was expired. The river was 4 inches deep. He was pulled out, vomiting, and arrested within minutes. The remaining assassins scattered. The plan was over. The motorcade rerouted. The Archduke arrived at City Hall, shaken but alive. He gave his scheduled speech. For 15 minutes, history held its breath. After the speech, the Archduke made a decision. He wanted to visit the officers injured in the explosion. He would go to the hospital. The route was changed. Nobody told the lead driver. The motorcade set off and the lead driver, following the original route, turned onto Franz Joseph Street. A staff officer realized the mistake and shouted at the driver to stop and turn around. The driver stopped. He began to reverse. Gavrilo Princip is inside. He'd given up. The plan had collapsed. His comrades were arrested or scattered. He'd walked away from the motorcade and wandered, directionless, into the nearest shop. He is standing at the counter. He is buying a sandwich. And then the Archduke's car slowly reverses to a stop directly in front of him. 5 feet away. Engine off. The Archduke sitting in the open-topped car, perfectly still. Princip later said he didn't think. He stepped out of the deli. He raised his pistol. He fired twice. The first bullet hit Sophie in the abdomen. The second hit Franz Ferdinand in the jugular vein. By 11:30 that morning, both were dead. Here is where most people think the story ends. A terrorist killed an Archduke. A war started. Done. But the actual chain of events that followed is almost harder to believe than the assassination itself. Austria-Hungary blamed Serbia. Serbia had a defense treaty with Russia. Russia had an alliance with France. Germany had a treaty with Austria-Hungary. Germany, afraid of a 2-front war, invaded Belgium to knock out France quickly. Britain had a treaty guaranteeing Belgian neutrality. In 37 days, a sandwich stop in Sarajevo had become a continental war. The treaties had been signed years before by men who never imagined they'd be triggered this way. Some historians call it the most catastrophic chain of misunderstandings in human history. Others say the war was inevitable, that Princip simply provided the spark for a powder keg that was already full. But here's what we know for certain. If the lead driver had taken the correct turn, Princip would never have been in position. If Kabrinovich's grenade had landed 6 inches differently, the Archduke would have been dead before noon. If any one of 7 men had succeeded, or one of 7 flukes had gone the other way, the war may never have started. Or started differently. Or not at all. We'll never know. Gavrilo Princip was 19 years old when he fired those 2 shots. He was too young to be executed under Austro-Hungarian law. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison. He died of tuberculosis in 1918, 4 years into his sentence, 4 years into the war he'd started. He never fully understood what he'd set in motion. The war he triggered killed 17 million people. The peace treaty that ended it humiliated Germany so completely that 20 years later, a second war began, killing 50 million more. All of it traced back to a wrong turn, a sandwich. A 19-year-old standing at a deli counter. The most consequential moment in modern history was an accident. If you want to see the next story, subscribe. These take a long time to make, and it genuinely helps.